रामानुजदयापात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयाम्नमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुग्मव्यामोहदस्तरितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपते वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीमत्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणु परकाल यतीन्द्रनिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। पूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलं वाल्मीके शृण्वन् रामकथानाथं को नयाति परागतिं वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशम् अक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्का भयङ्करं मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। आञ्जनेयमदिपाटलाननं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम्। A very good evening to be gathering here. Am I audible?
Yes.
It gives me immense pleasure to be back at the very premises, the holy premises of Lord Sri Venkateshwara, the Balaji Temple of Great Lakes, and to meet and see the same old faces, and very happy about it. Whenever there is a recitation of Srimad Ramayana, be it in the form of shlokas, the verses, or if there is an elucidation of the entire story, somebody gives a discourse on it, it is a general practice that we maintain in a traditional manner that we give a place to Hanuman. That's the practice that we have always followed, because we believe even if no one attends, he will attend. Yatra yatra raghunatha kirtanam tatra tatra kritamasta kanjalam. But he will not be seated just like that. He will ensure that he is immersed in the devotion that is interspersed with Ramayana, and thereby he will also start shedding tears. It may not be the case with us, because the person who is delivering the discourse should deliver in such a way that we have tears come. If he is delivering in a very substandard format, then we may not get. So I cannot assure you of shedding tears. Nevertheless, what I can assure you of is to convey the message of our Purvacharyas, and especially the Adi Kavi Valmiki, with respect to Srimad Ramayana. In Sanskritam, Ramayanam comes from Rama plus Ayana. It is Ayana Shabdam, which becomes Ramayana. Na becomes Hana. That's a technical rule in Panini's Vyakaranam, wherein if you have the previous word that ends with A, Rama, and the second word as Ayana, then the resultant word, in the resultant word, Na will become Na. So it is not Ramayana, it is Ramayana. So Ayana becomes Ayana. Ramayana is wrong, Ramayanam is right. Why is it Ramayanam? Because Ayanam in Sanskrit is the path traced by someone. The path traced is called Ayanam. And the path traced by the sun in the northern hemisphere, when the sun's rays falls on the northern hemisphere, there's the equator, the earth is tilted at an axis, it goes around itself, which is rotation, it goes around the sun, which is revolution, and the sun's rays fall on the southern hemisphere and on the northern hemisphere. Those set of 6 months, when the sun's rays trace the path in the northern direction, is Uttaram, Ayanam, Uttarayanam. When the sun's rays trace the path in the southern hemisphere, in the southern direction, then it is Dakshinam, Ayanam, Dakshinayanam. The path traced by Rama as per Dharma Shastram is called Ramaha, Ayanam, Ramayanam. So the path traced by Rama is Ramayana. So it is essentially not the story of a person. Why is it wrong to call it the story is, there is nothing wrong in the word as such. But the moment the word story is uttered, it may seem to us as if this is a figment of somebody's imagination, which is wrong. Valmiki was a reporter. More than being a composer, he was a reporter. Itihasa is itihasam. Thus it happened. Suppose you see a journalist, she is in the middle of a presidential campaign, and then she says, look what he is talking, look what she is talking. She gives you the picture right at the background. She is very much live in that place. So what she implies is, see, I am not composing or creating anything. What you hear is what you see. So what you see should be very reliable. This reliability comes when you actually see a particular scene. When it is being reported the way it is seen, it is called itihasam. Whereas Puranam is, it has to be catered in a new fashion, but things which are catered should have happened in the past. The grandfather should have told the grandson. The grandson will tell his granddaughter. The granddaughter, it's like that Woodward's Breakwater advertisement. If you remember way back, there used to be one advertisement where the child cries. Then the mother will say, while I was a child, my mother gave it. Then that mother who has overlived will also come out from that room. Then her mother's mother will also come in. States Periyalta. So, Puranam need not be a direct report. It could be an indirect report where it is being reported generation after generation. So, there is an iota of a chance where the thing or the incident could have been exaggerated in a Purana. I am not undermining Purana, but the technicality suggests that more than the Purana, Itihasam has to be relied upon. For example, the same Srimad Ramayana has been quoted as incidents by Valmiki in Valmiki's Ramayana, which is an Itihasa. The same Ramayana has been quoted by Shuka Brahman, Shuka Maharishi in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is a Purana, whereas Ramayana is a Itihasa. So, when you have one statement of Ramayana by Shuka Brahman and one statement of Ramayana by Valmiki, one from an Itihasam, one from a Puranam, and there is a slight conflict there. For example, they say Ram had 3 chapatis. I'm giving you an example. In Puranam, it states Ram had 2. Which one to rely? In way back in our country, whenever we face such issues, they will say, "Sir, 1 venda, 2.5 days." We cannot come to that concept here. Either it has to be 3 or 2. So which one to rely upon? That is when Shastram states, Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedam Samupabruhnayet Vibhedi Alpashrutat Vedat Mamayam Praharishati. When there is a conflict between the two, always give prominence to the first one, which is Itihasam. Take the 3 chapatis more than the 2 chapatis. That is what Shastram states. Even students of mathematics will relish. In UV principle of differentiation, we get a formula called I weight, inverse logarithmic algebraic trigonometric exponential. So when there is a series, you will have to give importance to I and then give importance to L. So when there is a precedence in mathematics, the one who is the owner of mathematics, Ganita Shastranam Vipnaha, is Ram. So in Ramayana also we need to give importance to Valmiki's words. In fact, Kalidasa, who came much later, in Raghuvamsham states, Vasurya Prabhavo Vamshaha Vachalpa Vishayamatihi Tithirshu Dustaram Mohadu Udupenasmi Sagaram. He states beautifully, Vasurya Prabhavo Vamshaha. How will I speak about the popularity of the great Ikshvaku Surya Kulam, the race of Surya? How will I speak about its popularity? Vasurya Prabhavo Vamshaha. How will I speak? I am blessed with a minimal intellect. Vacha Alpa Vishayamatihi. I have got very little brains. Tithirushu Dustaram Mohadu Udupenasmi Sagaram. It is like one who stands before not even the ocean, before Michigan Lake. Michigan Lake looks like one ocean. So if you stand before Michigan Lake and one states, I am going to use this small piece of wood as a catamaran, I am going to sit on it and cross the entire lake. Is that possible? He may not be able to do it. Like a person who claims that he can cross the entire ocean or a lake with a small piece of wood. Likewise is my case when I use a small piece of my intellect and want to cross the ocean of Ikshvaku Kulam. Vasurya Prabhavo Vamshaha Vachalpa Vishayamatihi Tithirshu Dustaram Mohadu Udupenasmi Sagaram. He states, one. Second, he says, Madau Vajra Samutkirne Purvasya Iva Astine Gatihi. I don't have to rework on Ramayana because Valmiki has given a very researched product. What is research? One searches, he doesn't get the answer. The other one says, I will do the process again. So he ends up doing the research of it. But then he will say, this is what I could do. That is what research students generally say. See, this is what I have achieved. If somebody else wants to further develop, they can always extrapolate or update this concept. Likewise, Kalidasa says, it is not so. Here, Valmiki has done a great job. So we need to understand who this Valmiki is. Matsya Purana gives one small anecdote about Valmiki. It states that he came in the kulam of Bhrigu. Later, this little child was nurtured by a community of hunters who wanted to find in better pastures, could not do so, and ended up being robbers. You know who robbers are? Here I am not sure, but there are various kinds. Some who openly come and take away the 8 sovereign GRP chain of money. That is one kind of robber. Second kind of robbers, they will ensure that you don't get any pain at all. That is called pickpocket. If you know pickpocket, I am sure because while I used to live in Bombay, I had to travel to my travel location from Matunga to Andheri. So I had to change 2 trains. Then I had to even end up taking a bus via Andheri, Sakinaka. If you want to experience all forms of hell in one's life, you can go in that traffic. So when I took that bus, one person gave me a very cheapish smile. I did not know how to react, but he is smiling. It will look wrong to the onlooker if I don't smile back at him. But I was wondering, I do not know that person. So then I looked down, he was actually cutting open the purse of the person before. So the previous person was holding like this poor thing, he was in his own world, he did not realize that he was losing a major part of his body, the cell phone. Isn't that an integral part of one's body? So he was losing it. So he is called the robber who does pickpocket. Pickpocket robbers are great Bhagavatas. They will never ever give pain to the other person. That is why Shastram calls, if you recite Sri.Dushyanth in Yajurvedam, it states in the 4th Anuvagam, Namakka Gubhai Nishangine Stenanam Pataye Namaha Taskaranam Pataye Namo Namo. This is in the 3rd Anuvagam, if I am right, it talks about Taskaranam Pati. Then when it talks about Taskaranam Pati, it gives 7 kinds of thieves. Vedam calls Rudra as a thief. Immediately Sayanacharya comments, how can you call the Lord a thief? It says, Hari Harati Papani. The one who is able to do the pickpocket of taking our sins is called as Takubhaya Nishangini. This is called Nishangini mantra. In those days for a Shraddham, if you recite this only, they will give you food. But today food takes prominence. And the principle, food is given more importance. Some people will say, they will wait for the Surji more than the Shraddham. So, Taskaranam Pataye Namaha. So, he is the one who is a robber. This boy who was nurtured by the hunters later turned to be a robber, and whoever used to pass by in that forest, he will ensure he stops them and you seize their wealth. It did once happen that Narada Maharishi was passing by. You cannot take anything from Narada. Word back. In Chennai, in many locations you will have to put your footwear outside and come. But what may happen is when you go back, you may not find it in the same place, one, or you may not find it at all. So there are two options. So in that case, what people thought was, we have to concentrate in the discourse. At the same time, we have to drop our footwear. So they have innovatively found out something called Upanyasam footwear. That Upanyasam footwear is as such. Nobody can even steal it. The texture, the quality of it will be so poor that the person who wants to steal it will also get a benevolent bent of mind and he will put $10 on it and say you buy one better. So Narada was one such Maharishi. He had nothing in him for one to stand, sit, wait and seize. Nevertheless, this particular robber wanted to prove his might. He stopped Narada because Narada's Veena had little rays of gold in it. Gold had been embedded on it. So he stopped Narada and said, Narada, I am tying you to this tree and I am going to take this. Narada said, why do you want to take it from me? He said, no, I am a robber by profession. I have to be very true and honest to my profession, so I have to steal. So Narada Maharishi said, you robber, you may accrue sins because of this. So it may end up that you will be suffering later. And when the person said, no, my family members are very appreciative of my job. Whatever we get, we will share. So Narada said, you go and ask them if they will share the papa. He went and asked, all the family members denied. They said, we will not partake your sins. Are we mad? They asked. Immediately that gave him that ray of enlightenment. Enlightenment dawned upon him. He came back to this location. He asked Narada, can you please guide me? It seems that one should seek the grace of one's Guru. Tat vidhi pranipadena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshati jnanam jnaninaha tatvadarshinaha states Gita-acharya Krishna to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, that one needs to seek the grace of one's Guru. So, why don't you be my Guru? Narada said, I will be your Guru. But you need to meditate on something. This meditation is an important thing. Because today meditation has got different connotations, different avatars. You pay $99 outside, you can participate in 3 days of meditative session for that 1 hour. So you can come, then there will be many people seated there. You will be seeing people whom you want to see, whom you never want to see. You sit there, then there will be one person in white kurta, he will come and say, all of you close your eyes. Think of what all you have done yesterday, what you have done yesterday. You think about it, nothing useful. So then he will say, think of a white light. That white light will go from your head to esophagus to larynx to stomach, small intestine, large intestine. How long can we keep thinking of white light? See, we are all very imaginative people. Even if the movie that we expected and waited for the release, if it's not adhering to the style and persona of that person, we get mixed up. Correct? Sir, we got so many dollars first day, first show tickets, sir. It is not in this style, be safe. But if it doesn't match, it is not imaginative, we think, how can we keep thinking of white light? So that is why Shastra states that meditation should be on the Lord, but should be on His divine form. That is when they ask, what should I meditate upon? Narada states, what is this? This is a mara. Amra mara. Amra is mango. Mara is a tree. Amra mara is a mango tree. So what is this common noun? Maram, which is a tree. Specific, proper noun, Amra Mara. Because Amra Mara is very related to the Lord. It is believed that once Goddess Parvati, she had a tiff with Lord Shiva. So she came down to earth and she worshipped the Lord in a form of a linga. That is when Lord Shiva wanted to test her. So he put scorching rays over her. She could not bear it. Now you may wonder how can God and goddesses not bear it. To come out in a temple form, they need to do some kind of a natakam. It's called Vyajam in Sanskrit. So through Vyajam, she acted, she could not bear the scorching rays. She prayed to Lord Vishnu, Nila Pingal Tundattan. These are names. Some say. So the discourses are good, we like it, but the names are very tough, we forget it. What to do? Forget it. That is when if I come next year also, it is the same talk. See, what may happen is, some organizers will call and ask, sir, what topic you want? If I tell, then I will say, no, I will not give the topic you have suggested, sir, because last year I gave. No, sir, they would have forgotten. So confident about God's memory. So, what we need to understand is, Lord Vishnu appeared in the form of a mango tree, and under that shade Parvati was seated. Then again, due to the scorching rays, the tree also started shedding its leaves and it started getting charred. That is when she prayed to Lord Vishnu, who spread out the nectarine cool rays of the moon. That is why Dikshita describes Kunjaragamane Madimandita Manjula Charane Mamavashira Panjara Shuki Pankaja Mukhi Guru Bhugaranjani Durita Bhanjani Niranjani Kanjarana Yadakshi Raka Sashivadane Suradane Rakshita Marane Ratnasadane Shrikachi Nivasane Surasane Shringarashraya Mandahasane Ekam Ekakshari Bhuvaneshwari Ekananda Vidajari Bhashmari Ekagrapano Laikari Shrikari Ekamresha Griheshwari Shankari Kanjarataya Ekamra. So this Mara was meditated upon by Valmiki. Mara, 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 and the name of Ram started appearing. And then he got enlightenment. Before that process, what happened was, since he was meditating truly, what is his true meditation? We also recite Vishnu Sahasranam, don't we? Vishnu, Imagine one name where we are thinking of the Lord. It is very tough. Even if we forcefully want to think, we are not getting it. So this is meditation. There is a difference between meditation and true meditation. So Valmiki was thinking of the Lord. So he was so immersed in devotion and meditation that he resembled a piece of a stone. So the termites and the ants around him, they started building an ant hill over him. Over this robber turned enlightened Rishi. And this ant hill, as per Sanskritam, is called Valmikam. Ant hill is called Valmikam. Valmikam, we call it as Putru. In Tamil, those of you who understand basic Tamil, if you watch Kabali, then you will understand Tamil. So, basic Tamil, what is basic Tamil? We say Pambu Putru. Pambu is no civil engineer. It can never construct. It comes through rent control act. The termites construct the ant hill, the ants construct, and this becomes the tenant. Like in Bombay, if you keep paying 50 rupees every month, finally that house which does not belong to you will belong to you. That is the concept. So likewise, this snake starts owning that ant hill, and then the name is being rechristened as Pambu Puttu, towards ants. But in Sanskritam, ant hill is called Valmikam. So Valmikam was built. And one more important thing, whenever I say important, it is very important that the audience are requested to carry a notebook and pen. Today the habit of writing has completely gone one. Or you can use your device, that stylus and tab to note it down. Or if we believe you are all the Purattalvan, the Kuresha of Ramanuja, who can listen and remember in just one say, then no problem at all. I will trust you and we will do it. The reason is because this religion doesn't believe in giving money to another person and asking him to come. This is a religion which believes in understanding, realizing, contemplating and spreading of thoughts that have been heard from our Purvacharyas. How can we spread? Only if we remember. How will we remember? Only if we make it a point to remember. How can we make it a point to remember? Either by writing or listening passionately. If the latter is tough, writing is easy. So, it becomes very important that we know. Valmikam is the anthill. Valmikam, as per Vedam, is also the ear of Mother Earth. Mother Earth, if she has to hear, how will she hear? Vedam states, Valmikataha Shravanato Vasudhatmanaste. Vasudha is Bhumi. So if she has to hear, she will hear it through the anthill. So this person upon whom the anthill was constructed, Valmikam was constructed, sat in meditation. Then came torrential rain. It was so powerful that it washed away the Valmikam, the anthill. So this person who was meditating at the behest of the anthill arose as a resplendent person with all radiance. Since he arose out of Valmikam, he was called Valmiki. He was called Valmiki. And this Valmiki thought of the Lord, and then he lived in the forest. That is when Ram, Seeta and Lakshmana, they came to the forest. They lived in the hermitages of various rishis, Sudikshna, Sharabhanga, Agastya, Bharadwaja, Valmiki. So they lived in the hermitage of Valmiki. Valmiki was very hospitable to them. He lived on the banks of a river called Tamasa, Tamasa Nadi Tiretu. So he was on the banks of river Tamasa. He was very hospitable to them. He welcomed them. They went further. They went to Nashik. She was abducted. Then later Ram went and rescued her. They brought her back. Then after the Pattabhishekam at Ayodhya, 2 years later, Ram, when he left to the forest, he was turning 25. He lived for 14 years in the forest. He was now 39. Seeta is 33. When they came back to Ayodhya, they lived happily for another 2 years. So he was 41 and she was 35. That is when she went and conveyed to her husband in Uttarakhand that I am carrying. This is what the report says. So that is when Ram calls her, and according to Bhavabhuti's Uttara Ramacharithram, he takes Seeta around a gallery. He has outsourced his entire life history to an artist. That artist has painted many portraits. So Seeta and Ram go, they see each other, and Seeta says, "You remember Ram? You came and married me. Oh, they asked me to lift that bow. Look at there, Hanuman, what is he doing?" Beautiful dialogues in Uttara Ramacharithram. That is when Seeta stops by the portrait which has attracted her. When Ram looks at what has attracted Seeta, he sees a portrait of where they were at the behest and the grace of various rishis in the forest. That is when she conveys to Ram, "Rama, now that I am going to become a mother, my child should grow in such a conducive, peaceful, non-controversial, apolitical environment." That is when Ram says, "I will ensure that your wish is fulfilled." That is when Uttarakandam, that night a spy comes and informs, and Ram now feels as a pure administrator, he should take an administrative decision, though he completely believes in Seeta. As an administrator, if his minister is found in some scam, he should immediately ask him to get down, order a strict probe, and only if the probe results say that he has not committed mistakes, he should resume his position. So he asked Lakshmana to drop Seeta off. Lakshmana could not stand this, but being the very dutiful servant and brother to Ram, he said, "I will drop Seeta." He went to the forest. Seeta wondered, "Yesterday I told him send me to the forest. He's such a sincere husband, he has sent me today." Lakshmana says, "You get down, Mata." He ensures that he drops her by the banks of river Tamasa, which is very close, a stone's throw away from Valmiki's hermitage. That is when he says, "Seeta Mata, get down." Seeta Mata gets down. She asks, "Lakshmana, why have you dropped me?" He says, "No, Mata, brother has told you that you cannot come back." She starts crying. What is your brother doing? Now at this stage when I want that I have to go every monthly checkup with him, now he has sent me to the forest. So then she says, if he has done, there will be a meaning. She crossed Tamasa river and Lakshmana left with shedding tears. That is when Valmiki in his ashramam sees Seeta, he welcomes her. Nobody else in his ashramam knows Seeta. They don't read newspaper at all. She was a very political figure. Wife of Ram, but never they used to sign in inside the internet, neither print media. So they did not know who Seeta was. So Seeta was welcomed by Valmiki. Valmiki came to know what transpired in the last 2 days. He was very upset with what Ram had done. Whatever said and done, he is always in Amma's side. So he did not know what has happened. That is when he goes and sits in his ashram and thinks, all these years I was thinking that Ram is an embodiment of virtues. Now I feel that no human being can be relied upon. And it is then, now it is 30 minutes over. It is then Ramayana begins. So this is the introduction. So this is when Ramayana begins. Because Ramayana starts Tapaswadhyaya niratam tapasvi valvidamvaram Naradam paripapraksha Valmiki munipungavam. The great Valmiki was now contemplating on something. Some people will worry, they will never express it to others. But their face will be depictive of that. If you take the BP report also, it will suggest that they have been thinking about it. So, Valmiki was one such person. He was thinking. That is when Tapaha Swadhyaya Niratam, the one who was adapting Tapaha. Tapaha Alochane hi dhatu. Tapaha means one who contemplates. There is a difference between thinking and contemplating. Why is the food having less salt? This is thinking. Why should I first of all have food? This is contemplating. There is a difference. Because the result of thinking will always end up in enjoying materialistic pleasures. That is thinking. Contemplate. Tapaha Swadhyaya Niratam. Now we have to decide whether we want to be contemplators or thinkers. Tapaha Swadhyaya Niratam. He was thinking. That is when Narada came at that place. Narada said, why are you worried, Valmiki? You see, Seeta is here. She has come to my hermitage for delivery. That is when Narada states, it is the right procedure. Where have you come? I have come from Mother Earth. I have come from the year of Mother Earth. So you are, I am the son to Mother Earth. Where has she come? She has come from Mother Earth. Who is she? The daughter of Mother Earth. Bhumi Janayakam Bhukti Mukti Dayakam Namakirtanatarakam Naravaram Gadamagikam Ramachandram Bhavayani Raghulatilakam Vedram Rama Bhumi Ja, the one who is born from Bhumi. Bhumija is Seeta, the daughter of Mother Earth. Bhumi's other synonymous word is Avani. So Bhumija can also be replaced with Avanija. Ravi Sashi Puja Buddha Guru Shukra Shanishchara Rahu Ketu Netanam Rajakumaram Ramam Pavanajata Avanija Manokaram Bhajagre Premanasaya. Seeta, daughter of Mother Earth, Bhumija. What is the other word? Avanija. Because discourse will be lost questions. It is not like concert. In concerts, people will be waiting for Neraval. They will know when the Neraval is going to start. Where you use press to one line and keep on repeating. That is what Neraval portion is. And by the time they come, they will know when it is going to conclude. They will come. Correct timing they will see. But in discourse it is not like that. We lost questions. Now you will have to think whether you want to come for the rest of the 5 days. So, Bhumija, daughter of Mother Earth, Avanija, third name, Kshitija. Kshitija Ramanam Chintaye. States Muthuswami Dikshita. So she is born as a daughter of Mother Earth. Valmiki has come from the anthill, which is the ear of Mother Earth, so he is the son of Mother Earth. So Valmiki and Seeta are figuratively the brother and sister. So for delivery, she has come to her brother's house, states Narada. That is when Valmiki states all that is okay. But I somehow feel that Ram was a great person, but doing so he has come 2 steps down, 2 notches down. His rating has come down. Exit polls is low. Why? That is when Narada states, put your questions in the right fashion. Some people won't even know how to frame questions. What is the question they are not asking? So that is when Valmiki stated. Konasmin sampratam loke gunavan kascha viryavan dharmajnascha kritajnascha satyavakyo dridhapradaha charitrena chako yuktaha dharma bhuteshu kohitaha vidwan kakkas samarthascha kasyaikaha priyadarshanaha atmavan kojita krodhaha को अनसूयकः कस्य विभ्यति देवश्च जातरोषस्य संयुगे. These 4 verses that encompass the 16 auspicious attributes which Valmiki feels a person should be a repository of. These 4 verses of Ramayana have been commented for 45 pages in Sanskrit by a commentator. If I tell the 45 pages, then I will need 2 more months here. Who is the one? Konasmin sampratam loke gunavan. Who is the one who has got good guna? What is guna? Whatever we say, you will find mistake. No. I may not have that 1 crore what Aravind Swami gives. But I will still ask questions. Quality, character. So who is the one who has got the 16 qualities is the question. Then he lists the qualities. What is the first quality? Konasmin sampratam loke gunavan. Who is the one who has got guna? Isn't this confusing? Suppose you have put a list for Costco or Samsung. You put at the top provisions. What you want to buy, you put at the top label provisions, and then 1 turmeric, 2 mustard, 3 hing, all that you put. Now instead, imagine you put provisions at the top. 1 provisions. Then the person will be searching 1 provisions, where is provisions, where is provisions. Correct? 16 qualities is what a person should have. 16 gunams. What is the first gunam? Gunam. How can it be possible? Gunavan. Big question. Ramayana starts with a big question. That is when the commentator states gunam here indicates saushiliyam. Saushiliyam is a unique quality when a person moves with an other person of a different strata even without giving him the time to realize the disparity. At times, giving discourse in one's mother tongue helps understand things better. English is a very complicated language. If you go to lectures in those days, they'll say, your soul is caught in the mesh of illusion in this mortal and mundane world in the metaphysical state. What? You would not have understood anything. But the local speaker in our village will say, Perumal, Ellari Rakshikara. You can understand what he says, then he is not a good speaker. So the quality of a good speaker means you should not understand. It should be an OHT, overhead transmission. So, gunavan, saushilya means what? One has to move. You know what? If I am from a certain status of the society, there is another person. But when I move with him, that person should not feel that he is from a very high state, he is moving with me. He should feel when I move with him, oh, it looks as if he is born with me. That disparity in that status should just be volatile. The person who does not give that intent to the other person is called a sushilavan, the one who has got a good quality. Sushila bhavam is saushilyam. So in those days, the code word for saushilyam in those days was gunam. How? In those days, whenever there used to exist a concept called arranged marriage, in those days, when the boy used to be treated with suji and bhaji, and the girl used to come with brew coffee, and she will come. That is when she goes back, the ladies there will ask, what does padakkam mean? Generally, what does padakkam mean? But there is no word bad there. When we say padakkam, you add one prefix to it, bad padakkam. How? Because that is an intent. You will never say padakkam, that is not what they want. Whether it is Agnimotri or Nirkavari, that is what they want to understand. But we don't put that word ketta. So, without putting that word bad, we are able to understand the purport of that sentence. Likewise, in those days, the one who has Saushilya was called a Gunavan. Kascha Viryavan, great valor. See, Seeta was abducted. Ram did not stop. So, what to do? Life is like that. When they come, when they go, but I go on forever, I marry like my father and another lady. He would have said it. That is not Viryavan. He went and fought, he constructed the Setu. He went there to call the monkeys. That is a even bigger task. 70,000 monkeys we handled. We are not able to manage one or two in the house. So 70,000 people. Viryavan, he took all of them, handled them in Lanka and came. See, this is what a normal wife would expect. See, wife is walking along with her husband in the park. That time she is wearing the good GRP chain. GRP, Royal, Class, Malabar, whatever chain. That is when one person who comes on Harley Davidson thinks. It doesn't matter if it is a democratic country. It doesn't matter if the chain is in her neck or my neck. So he puts the chain and walks away, runs. What will the wife minimum expect? She will at least expect her husband to run like a big ocean and catch that thief. If not, at least he should come panting for breath. This is what she will expect. He says, life is full of ups and downs. What may come will always go. First person who will receive the beating for it is beating. So he has to prove his valor. So Viryavan, Dharmajnaha, one who understands Dharma. Kritajnaha, what does Kritajnaha mean? Gratitude, grateful. Kritajnaha. What is ungrateful in Sanskrit? Very good. Kritagnaha. Slight difference. Grateful, Kritajna. Ungrateful, Kritagna. So who is the one who is grateful? This is one of the qualities he has asked. Later, Valmiki says all these qualities is in Ram, Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavaha. Ramo Rama Janishutaha. There is one who has come in Ikshvaku Kulam. The same Ram. Ade Ram is the one who has got the 16 qualities. How is Ram grateful? Can you tell me one quality where he is grateful? Why? Show me one incident where he is grateful. There are too many questions there. You are waiting for the lecture, but you are asking half the questions. Where is he grateful? He went to the forest because his father said. That's not gratitude. Because his Kaikeyi will file a legal case because the Dasharatha had promised. So that was a legal issue. So he had to go to the forest. It's not gratitude. It's Pitruvakya Paripalana. Sugriva. See, Ram helped Sugriva. But out of what gratitude? He has never seen Sugriva before. See, gratitude is when one person has helped you, you think of that help and you retaliate and give him a better help. Jatayu tried protecting Seeta, but then when he could not protect, he had to go to moksha. That is the adhikari, the one who owns moksha will give moksha. See, suppose I am a speaker, I have delivered speeches. Sir, his delivering speeches are very good. That is my job. Next.
Vibhishana and Hanuman.
Vibhishana and Hanuman. See, because Hanuman tried protecting Vibhishana, so Vibhishana was given refuge. That is what you are trying to tell?
Both ways, you know.
Both ways.
Yeah.
Okay. Somewhat we can say it is closer, but still, one who seeks refuge, one has to give surrender. Good. Little gratitude is there. Good. Guhan. So he goes to Guha's ashram. Guha gives him fruits. He does not consume on day 1, day 2 he consumes. Then he goes to Bharadwaj ashram. There is no sense of there is no incident of gratitude there. Okay, I will give you one secret. See, this is the season called Adi. If you know what Adi, Adi is the month in this Dakshinayana, and in Chennai, especially those who follow solar calendar, because we have both Shaurayana and Chandrayana. So people who follow lunar as well as solar calendar. People who follow solar calendar, in this month they generally won't perform marriages. Generally they will not perform marriages. Now Adi is over, but still I tell you, it is not being performed during Adi. That is when in Chennai they have developed a concept called Adi Talluri. If you buy one, you get one free. So I will also give you one Talluri, one offer. I will give you one secret. For those of you who are present on day one, you are getting one extra offer. What is the offer? We have to see one incident. It is a very secret incident in Ramayana. You all have to listen to the same interest when Virat Kohli put the last ball. So, in Ramayana there is one incident where Indra's son called Jayanta, Indra's son called Kakar, not Jayanta, I'm sorry, Kakar, the crow, he comes and sits on the branch of a tree in Chitrakuta. He sees Seeta seated upon whose lap Ram was resting his head. Sukhasukta Parantapa, he was so handsome and he was sleeping. That is when this crow, what it does is it goes and pricks the chest of Seeta and blood oozes out. Very tender, sensitive lady. She could not tolerate this and she was trembling in that pain. That is when Ram sensed something wrong. He got up and he saw blood oozing. He immediately checked what happened. He saw one crow seated on the top of the branch with its beak dripping with blood. He knew what would have transpired. He took one blade of grass, put a Brahmastra mantra into it. It became an astram called Aishikam. When you convert any blade of grass to a weapon, it is called Aishikam in Dhanurveda Shastra. So he converted and he let it. Then the crow went to various other places. Everybody said, no, do not disturb, no entry. We cannot entertain you. And finally the crow came and surrendered the field of Ram. That is when what Seeta does is, she says, please don't harm the crow. He has done a mistake, but as parents we need to bless the child. It is okay. That is when Ram, he has this Nayanam. He takes out one eye. That is why in Sanskrit literature we believe that cows have only one eye. So they will never look like this. They will either look like this or look like that. So it's called Kakakshi Godakanyaya. No, don't tell me biologically they have got two. Biologically yes, but literature wise they have got only one eye. Kakakshi Godakanyaya. So that is when the crow loses one eye, but he still is spared with life. That is when Valmiki says, Vadharham api kakutstha kripaya paryapalayat. Kripaya paryapalayat. Ram, out of kripa, out of mercy, gave life to the crow. Kripaya paryapalayat. Who gave? Ram gave. Vadharham api kakutstha. He doesn't say Rama, Raghava, Ramachandra, Dasharathi. No, he says Kakutstha. For Ram's name, he says Kakutstha. Why? Because it is a very intended meaning. Once what happened in Ram's ancestors, there was one king in Ayodhya who was invited by Indra to fight the demons. Indra never had the power to fight. He knows only to watch the dance of Urvashi and Menaka. He cannot fight. So he immediately will send one telegram, start immediately. So this king from Ayodhya went and he fought the demons. On the last day, the chariot on which the king was standing had to go for service, workshop. So no chariot was available. In those days, without using a chariot, you cannot fight because you need to keep storage spaces. You have got one to keep the coffee mug in the car, right? Like there one key change, one change, and so many things. So there is to be provision for that. What will he do? He wanted a place where he could stand and fight. That is when he asked Indra, Indra, help me with the chariot. Indra said, all my chariots have also gone for service. Don't worry, I will find one solution. Indra disguised himself, took the form of a bull. Bull in Sanskrit will have one hump. That hump in Sanskrit is called kaku. Indra turned into the bull with the kaku, and this king from Ayodhya stood upon the bull's kaku and fought against the demon. Since he stood on the kaku, he was called Kakutstha. Since Ram came in the parampara, the Vamsha of Kakutstha, Ram was called Kakutstha. So Kakutstha gave life to this crow. Why? Because Ram wanted to be grateful to his ancestors when they suffered without a chariot. It was Indra who turned into the bull with a cuckoo and acted as a chariot. As a mark of that gratitude, he did not want to kill Indra's son, the crow. So, Badharnam api Kakutstha is a secret. That is why he is termed as grateful. Gorasvin sampratam loke gunavan kascha viryavan dharmajnascha kritajnascha satyavakyaha dridhavrataha. The one who has vowed to be honest. Charitrena chako yuktaha. The one who has got a good character. Dharma bhuteshu kohitaha. One who thinks goodwill for all creatures. Avada? Sarva bhuteshu kohitaha. Vidwan, good scholar. Kakkas samarthaha, smart person. Kaschaika priyadarshanaha. He should look very nice to look at. Okay to look, but very nice person. Somebody say, so it should not be that way. Priyadarshanaha. Somebody say, how is she? From far she looks good. And we keep on looking at a person from far and we get near. That means if you go near, not good. Some people say, Mooku, Kidi. Kidi Mali, only Mooku is admired, nothing else. So it should not be like that. Priyadarshanaha, Atmavan, one who knows what is his true character. Kojitak Krodaha, one who knows how to control his anger. Because anger is a good quality. That is why in Rudram they say Drape. Drape means one who gets anger at the right time. So anger is a good quality. But some will say, sir, very nice person, sir, if he gets angry, he doesn't know how to control. Then he should not get angry. If you do not know how to control your anger, you should never get angry. Jitat Krodha, one who knows how to control his anger. Dhyudiman ko Anasuyakaha, resplendent one. Anasuyakaha, Asuya in Sanskrit is jealousy. Anasuya means without being jealous. Vangita hava. Illa vangita. Wow, ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் நீங்க வாங்கினதுல. That Anasuyakaha kasya vibhyati devascha. Even the demigods should bury him. Jataroshasya sanyuge. That is when Narada states, Valmiki, don't get confused. All these 16 qualities which you have elucidated to me rest comfortably and completely in one person who lives now at our times. Sampratam loke, now. And his name is Rama. Is it the same Ram, Narada? Yes, same Ram. Now then Valmiki states, okay, I will start writing the life story of Ram. But how will I know what has happened just before now? The incidents. That is when Brahma says, Hastam Amarakam Gata, like a gooseberry in your hand, you will be able to see every scene like action replay, you can write it like that. That is when they start. There was a king called Dasharatha. Dasharatha had one daughter called Shanta. She was given in adoption to a neighboring king called Romapada of Angadesha. And then to have reigns in their kingdom, they had to bring a great rishi called Rishyashringa, who used to worship in a hill called as Shringari, which later became Shringeri. So Rishyashringa was brought and married to Shanta, and as they were married, Romapada was happy. Now Dasharatha, who had given his only daughter Shanta, wanted a son. Beti Bachao, Beti Padao is over. Now he wanted a son. So seeking Putraha, Punnarakam Prayati iti Putraha. Son is called Putraha. Why? Punnarakam. He does not let his father and forefathers go to a hell called as Pun. There is one hell called as Put. This Put is a narakam where the forefathers will go. If the son is born, he will not let his fathers and forefathers go. So he is called Putraha. One person on a lighter wing said, why he is called Putraha? Because when he is born, the father experiences all forms of hell here itself. So he doesn't have to go to a hell. So Punnarakam Trayati. So they wanted a Putra. So they performed Ashwamedha Mahayajnam for 1 year. Samvatsareti, 1 complete year, 1 yagam. Once we perform in our life, 2 hours we perform that. Itself we will lose patience. So they performed for 1 year as a complementary section to that yajnam, he performed the ishti. Ishti is a small sacrifice where you desire what you want. So if you desire a putra, it becomes putra kama ishti, putra kama ishti. So putra kama ishti was performed, at the end of which the Lord, the Agni Purusha arose with a payasam in a patra, a golden pot with a silver lid, states Valmiki. He is very specific. Golden pot with a silver lid. During the Upanayanam, they will always put two poonals. Veldi poonal, one poonal. If you do two things, it will actually be absent. But if you get closer, you can just see a stick. So that is Veldi poonal and one poonal. Why the key, the payasam came in a golden pot with a silver lid, sir? How does it matter, sir? Let it come in any pot. No. Because silver is argentum in chemistry, Ag. Ag in periodic table, its property has, it can always retain heat. That is why in those days they used to have food in silver plates. It can retain heat. Whereas gold, which is aurum, Au, has the property to expel heat. That is why they will wear gold ornaments. It can take the body's heat and expel it away. So this was a silver pot, golden pot with a silver lid. Why? Because the payasam should neither be too hot nor be too cold. It has to be in a lukewarm condition. So this payasam came. 50% was given to Kaushalya. Oh, Dasharatha personally liked Kaikeyi better. For every party he will take only Kaikeyi. But he had to give 50% to Kaushalya because legal issue. As per ration card, first is Kaushalya Dasharatha, her name. So she will only get 5 kgs of rice. Kaikeyi Sumitra cannot get. But if she is in Tamil Nadu, she will also get grinder. So this Kaushalya had to be given 50% of the payasam. What is remaining? Ardham, 50%. In that, half of half, which is 25%. Ardham, 25% was given to Sumitra. Next, what is remaining? 25. In that, what is half? 12.5. 12.5 was given to Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi was very diet conscious. Not take lots. Some people say what have we traditionally believed? You have food twice or thrice a day, that is enough. Now dietitians say, have little food throughout the day, many times. If you keep on having little, when will you perform work? Because when I used to work in my office, there used to be colleagues besides me who used to sit. She used to bring 10 dabbas like a multi-story building, 2 tomato, 2 kumbar, because that dietitian would have said, all that is not required. Ayurveda states, Hita Mita Bhojanam, have good food, but have it in less quantity. You should not have till your stomach says enough. You should stop when you feel your stomach may say enough. That is what Ayurveda Shastra states. So, 12.5 was given to Kaikeyi. Remaining is 12.5. That is Payasopamam Amritam. The remaining part of any sweet, the last part is equal to Amritam, states Shastra. If you remember the yesterdays when mothers had time to feed their children, they used to make curdles and they used to feed. At the end, when the child refuses to have the last morsel of the food, the mother will say, you have this, you will become like one baby elephant. The only blessing of the mother which has come true is that everybody else is turned futile. So, as per Shastram, the last morsel of the food is called Payasopamam, like Amritam. So he had to give it to someone who relishes. You know, in days of Pongal, 3 days we do. Traditionally in houses we make bodi, puran bodi, one day. In those days, what used to happen is many members in the family, each one could manage to get only one. So when you eat that one, the last piece it comes, you start shedding tears. So it is getting over. But if you have a second one, it will not taste as good as the first one. Law of diminishing utility and marginality comes into picture. But still, she had to take that, somebody had to take that last portion. Anuchintya Sumitra Punareva Mahamati. Great intellectual Dasharatha Punareva Mahamati thought again and again whom to give this 12.5%. If he gives to Kaushalya, Kaikeyi will fight. If he gives to Kaikeyi, Kaushalya can file a legal case. So he had to give it to one person whom people can never fight with. Such a philosophical figure in Ramayana is Sumitra. So she was given 12.5% again. So it was given to Kaushalya, Sumitra, Kaikeyi and Sumitra again. So what should have been the order of the birth of the children? Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna. But it was not like that. It was Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana, Shatrughna. How? Because Sumitra, after she received the first and the second portion, she did not consume it before Kaikeyi. She thought, Kaushalya and Kaikeyi, let them consume. They will have one son. Let me consume after that, so that I have two sons to serve the other two sons. Anuchintya Sumitraye Gunareva Mahamati. Bhattadri Narayanian states, Girvane Rathyamano Dashamukha Nidhanam Kosale Shrushya Shrunge Putriya Mishti Mishva Dadushu Dasharathaka Kshma Bhrugo Payasaryam Tadbhutva Tadpurandri Shvati Samam Jatagarbha Sujato Ramaswam Lakshmanena Swayamata Bharatena Pishatrughna. So they were born. Tatascha Dwadashe Mase. 12 months later Ram was born. In the star of Punarvasu, Vasishta christened him as Ram. While Ramayati Ramaha Kalyanam Nidhanam Kalimatamatanam Pavanam Pavananam. His name itself can eradicate sins. States Namalva. When you utter Keshava, all your sins will go away. When you utter Ram, Rama enna irandalithinal nanmayum selvamum naadavayume tinmayum pavamum shivendu theyume janmavum maranam ninithilume naye Rama ennu irandalithinal. So this boy who can give emancipation to the accrued sins which have been committed by the mortals over a series of countless births can get eradicated. So he is apt to be christened as Ram. Who is the second one? Bharata. Bharataha Rajya Varna. The one who owns a kingdom is called Bharata. Which kingdom did he own? Even when the kingdom came to him, he said, I will not own. Some people in Chennai, they call Kanna Iram. His name will be. The existing two eyes itself will not be visible. Kanna Ayra the 1000 eyes. The first two eyes itself not visible. So what is the use of calling himself a Bharata when he is not owning the kingdom? He is not called Bharata because he owned the normal kingdom. When, for his sake, when Kaikeyi asked if Ram has to go to the forest, Ram went to the forest, and that is when Bharata comes. He intervenes and he is dejected with his mother's approach. So he goes and seeks forgiveness at the lotus feet of Kaushalya. That is when Shatrughna, he brings Manthara. Manthara is the maid servant, come caretaker, come cook to Kaikeyi. From her younger days, she was the one who used to take care of Kaikeyi. Because Kaikeyi's mother was a very social person. She would go for parties, she had no time. So she ensured that she employed a hunchback lady called Manthara. So Kaikeyi belonged to a region called KKM. As per people who have researched on Ramayana, they state that KKM is the region of Afghanistan, Pakistan and parts of Punjab. That's what they state. So Kaikeyi belonged to the region of KKM, so she was called Kaikeyi. This is one understanding. But the great sage of Kanchi, Mahabrahmacharya, Mahapriva, used to state that KKM is also Russia. So we do not know whether it is Russia or Afghanistan, but the concept of a foreign daughter-in-law ruling India has been existed for long. So Manthara, don't tell me this story. So Manthara was being pulled because she had all the gold ornaments. She thought when everybody is dejected, this is the time for me to dupe them by taking all these gold jewels on me. So she took all the gold jewels. It resembled like a monkey who's being pulled by the monkey taker. That is when Shatrughna pulls her. Rajjubadheva Vanari states Valmiki. He pulls her to Bharata and states, it is she who is the root cause of all our calamities. Bharata said, Manthara? No. Oh, because Manthara said, Mother Kaikeyi heard, it is Kaikeyi's mistake. No, it is not Kaikeyi's mistake. Bharata, it could be our father Dasharatha who listened. He acted like a helpful husband. He listened to the words of Kaikeyi. It is he who is the cause. It is not he who is the cause. It is Ram. Just because our father has said, why should he go to the forest? He should have questioned him back. No, it is not Ram's mistake. Shatrughna was confused. It is not the mistake of Manthara, nor Kaikeyi, nor Dasharatha, nor Ram. Whose mistake is it, Bharata? It is because of me. If I were not born, nobody would have asked for the kingdom. So he became the owner to own the uncommitted sins on his part. So he was called Bharataha Paradosha Rajya Bharana. He accepted the sins committed by others as his very own sin. Nane Dana Yuduga states Andai. This bhakti is what Tyagaraja states. Telugu varunnara akkada? Telugulo you would never say aparama bhakti. It is aparama bhakti. Appa, yamda bhakti. Even your eyelids have to be protected. Tripadanu teechi kantile kumale numa apparama bhakti ganto gopala apparama bhakti ganto kapivari dhidaduna అపరాధిత్యాగరాజు ఆనందము హెచ్చుచున్న అపరామ. వాట్ భక్తి భరత హై. భరతాయ పరం నమోస్తు తస్మై ప్రథమోదాహరణాయ భక్తి కాజాం. If one were to start counting the list of people who had unadulterated devotion, the first in the list would be Bharata, states Vedanta Deshika and Paduka Sahasram. So Bharata was given the name Bharata. Lakshmanaha, Lakshmi Sampannaha. He always used to serve Ram. Chitraratnamaya Seshatalpamandu Seeta Patini Joji Mitri Bhagyame Bhagyamu Saumitri Bhagyame. Finally came Shatrughna, like Nammalvar's Madhurakavi Alvar. He was devoted to the Lord's devotee called Bharata. So the four boys grew up well. Now Ram is at the age of 12. Sir, you told them they were christened. Immediately went to 12 years of age. What will I do if Valmiki has done that like that? He immediately takes us to 12 because Ram was a very obedient child. Obedient child will not have, you can never unstable memories from such childhood. Because if you ask Ram to eat, he will eat. If you don't give him food, he will not ask. Whereas Krishna is not like that. The entire Bhagavatam is below 12 years of age. You get the entire Bhagavatam within 12. Ramayana starts after 12. So Ram was at the age of 12. His curriculum vitae was very weak. No extracurricular activities. So, if without extracurricular activities, who will marry? That is when Vishwamitra barged in. He entered the court of Dasharatha and said, Swaputram Rajashanula Ramam Satyaparakramam Kakavaksha Veeram Jeshtham Me Datumarhasi. Give me the dark son that you have got. Will anybody ask like this? But in our country, we don't go by complexion. We say Kalpi is the very most beautiful color. As per Samudrika Lakshana Shastra, which is a Shastra that talks about beautiful men and women, it states that only dark people should sport gold ornaments. Fair people should not, it states. Even if you go to jewelry shops, all the ornaments will be on a black eye. So, black as per our Shastra is important. That's why Andai says, Kandanennum Karundaivam Kachippadagi Kidappeenai Punnil Kudi Peidar Pol Uraninnu Alagu Peshare Pennil Vartham Ariyadaruman Veeragavadaittiranar. She states in Nachiyar Tirumudi. We have got songs also, Karupudayana Kudicha color and all that. So, all this is to reiterate that black is a very supportive color. That's why he says, give me your dark sun. Beyond that he says, Kakapaksha Dharam. You know what is Kakapaksham? Kakapaksham, in those days there was a fashion. You have to let the front hair come like this. And it is to curl. The side temple locks of the hair in Sanskrit is called Kakapaksham. That was like bell-bottom pant. You know bell-bottom pant? It will come straight and then it will become a bit drop. 3-4 people can get inside. So that was a fashion. In 1980s, women used to sport some bun Here, you know, Kottaidum Taragore, Nilure, Mula, Yuvaranda, Uttaman, Gechapa, Chadvita, Pinchika. So that is the fashion of those days. So Ram used to have Kadabaksha. Kadabaksha Dharam Veeram. Give me that boy who is a fashionista. Kadabaksha Dharam Veeram, Jeshtham me Ratumarasi. I know about him. I am the one who has the Darbha grass. I know his value. You are the one who loves him beyond a point you will not be able to understand his significance, Dasharatha. I am the one who seeks moksha. I can understand him. You are the one who seeks kamam. You cannot understand him. You are the one who sleeps on the best of the mattresses. Ottukal, Kattilmel, Mettendra, Pancha, Shayanatin Meledi. I am the one who doesn't give importance to comforts and sleeps on the ground which is infested with thorns. I know the significance of your son. Give your son to me. Dasharatha said, had you asked me, I would have come, but you asked for my soul. Amatmaja. Atmaja means my soul. That is why Vyasam Vasishthanaptaram Shakte Pautram Parasharatmajam. Vyasa is the son of Parashara. He is not called son. Atmajam. Why is the father's son the soul? Because Atma in Sanskrit means Apnoti iti Atma, the one that attains what it wishes to attain. If the Atma desires moksha, it can attain moksha. Since it attains what it desires, it is called Atma. The father's soul, Atma, is the son. Why? Because the father, if he wants to study in raw school and he is not able to, he will ensure that his son studies. So he attains his wish through his son. So the father's soul is the son, Atma. So he asked, Dasharatha said, if you had asked me, I would have come. But you asked for my son, Sundar Dasharatha Nandana Rama Sundar Dasharatha Nandana Rama. You've asked for Ram. That is when Vishwamitra intervenes. Vishwamitra and Vasishtha ruling an opposition party. In our country, GST was passed, but these two people had been there, GST would have never got passed. Such opposing stance they would take. But Vishwamitra, immediately Vasishtha got up and said, Dasharatha, please send Ram along with Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra is a very capable person. I know about him, you send. Dasharatha says, Una Shodasha Varshaha Mera Mahara Jiva Lochana Ayudhayogyanamyasya Pashyami Saharakshasahi. My son is not even 16 years of age. His eyes are like the lotus and you are asking him to fight the demons. Why? Because the demons are awake in the night. Whereas the lotus closes at the sunset. So you are calling my lotus-eyed Ram to fight against the demons. How is it possible? That is why Vasishtha says, you don't worry. Vasishtoti Mahadevaha Yeshe me tapasisthitaha. He stands. So Ram was asked, but Lakshmana comes along. 1 + 1 free. In our country, if you buy 200 rupees Horlicks bottle, you get 1 5 rupees pen. Pen no. Really? No. They will take the pen and forget the Horlicks bottle. So Ram was asked, Lakshmana came along. Periyavachan Pillai, the commentator asks, one was asked, the other one came along. Why? When the body walks, will the shadow be awake? When Ram walks, can Lakshmana be awake? Romanjamane Ganjukamu Rama Bhaktudane Mudrave Ramanamane Varakakaviri Rajillunaya Yagaraju Nike Vanduri Pikolo Viyavaya Rama. Telugulo Bantu ante nenu శేషంగా ఉన్నాను సర్వెంట్. పంటు అంటే కొడల్. అది పంటు రీతి కోలు కాదు, బంటు రీతి కోలు. So he went along. That is when Tataka was to be killed. Namastas Kamban states, சொல்லுவர்க்கும் கடியவேக சுடுசரம் கரியசம்பம் அல்லுவர்க்கும் நிறத்தினாள் மேல் விடுதலும் அது வைரக்குன்றின் கல்லுவர்க்கும் நெஞ்சில் தங்காது அப்புறம் கழல் கல்லா புல்லற்கு நல்லோர் சொன்ன பொருள் என போயிருந்தன்றே. The arrow went at such a speed, he says. And he gives beautiful descriptions. If I get into all that, it will take a lot of time. Already Navaham has been reduced to 6 days. And in that 6 days, half my time goes about talking irrelevant things. So we have very little time. So he killed Tataka. He goes further. Then he does the Yajna Samrakshana. So he stands, he makes Lakshmana stand as a constant and he goes as a variable. In algebra, we go that way when variable constant. So he does that and he protects the sacrifice. So second in the curriculum vitae, he has been improving his curriculum vitae. He killed Tataka, he killed Subahu, he broke away Maricha. Then as he walked, that is when we say that his feet touched upon a stone and that stone became. This is what N.T. Ramarao did. As far as he is wrong. So, when he got, Ahalya got emancipated of all her sins. But you think of this. When Ram was asked to go to the forest of exile itself, he carried his slippers, padukas, sandals. Now when he is going as a prince, he would surely have sport padukas. How can his leg overgrow the paduka and touch upon that stone? Isn't it illogical? So that is when Vedanta Deshika states, Namastasmai kasmai chana bhavatu nishkim chana jana swayam raksha viksha swayam adhika samindhana yashase sudadhisha swairakshana kumita shapa yudavadu dushatta durjata prashamana paramboja rajase. The Lord walked in association with the holy sandals, and as he walked with the manly lion gait, the dust that was there on the earth, which was associated with the padukas, which was associated with his holy feet, spread high in the sky, fell upon the stone, and the stone turned into Ahalya. Sri Rama Padamani Kripatarune Chittani Kirave Dharini Shilayai Rapamutaraga. So, Ram goes further. Now, Vishwamitra keeps looking at Ram like this. Ram felt very embarrassed. Old Rishi is looking at him. Why are you looking at me, sir? Mani vannattarakki poril malai vannattu annade Unkai vannam angu kanden Kaal vannam ingu kanden. Contain in Tamil means seen. But you cannot use this just like that. If you are seeing something, you should see partay. They keep coffee for me, coffee with partay. If I say contain, that means I have not seen coffee for 6 months. So, contain is a word that is used when you are in surprise. Kai vannam angu partay, kaal vannam ingu partay. Why kai vannam angu contain, kaal vannam ingu contain? Why that contain? Because Vishwamitra knew that the general rule accepted in this world is, if one has to encourage the other person, he will say, come here, I will give you a hug. For giving hug, you use your hands. To bless, you use your hands. Whereas to punish, you say, let him come and kick. So kicking, punishment, leg. Encouraging, patting, hand. But Ram used the hands which are meant to pat, to kill and punish Tataka. He took the legs which are meant to punish to bless Ahalya. So he did things which were topsy-turvy. So he said, Kai vannam angu contain, Kaal vannam ingu contain. The other meaning in Tamil. Kaal in Sanskrit is Padam. Adya Brahmana, Adya Brahmana, don't even say, that person has to say, this person has to Adya Brahmana, so there it is, Kaliyuge, Prathame Pade, first quarter of, if I tell in Chennai, they will laugh when I say quarter. But here, quarter is the normal portion. Kaal, in Tamil we say Kaal for quarter, correct? Mukkal is 3 quarters. So, in the entire Ramayana, if they were divided into sections like Kaal, quarter, the first quarter is when Seeta Kalyanam, the marriage between Seeta and Ram ends. And it is only till then that Vishwamitra has the opportunity to witness Ram's pastimes. He doesn't come in the 3/4 portion. So he is now repentive of it and he says, Kal Vannam Indu Kandeen, but I have not seen the Mukkal Vannam. I have not seen the 3/4. So Ram goes further. That is when they receive an SMS. The SMS is Swayamvaram for Seeta. You are invited. Vishwamitra thought it's high time that I call it quits. Why will I attend Swayamvaram? But I got two eligible bachelors, I will take them along. In those days it was Swayamvaram. The girl has to come with a mala, 10 men will stand. She can put garland, any man she likes. Look at the insult meted to the other man. Outside they will wait and and in those days to get married, you will have to prove your valor. You will have to lift the bow, you will have to lift mountain, you will have to shoot the fish's eye. If all such things are kept today, most of them will remain bachelors. In the Duka, Mama, I will bucket to So, Vishwamitra thought, let me take these 2 men. The next morning he woke up Ram. Vishwamitra, old senior citizen, he gets 40% in IRCTC, Indian Railways. So he had to wake up Ram. He got up early. He woke up very early at about 3:45 a.m. He sat next to Ram. Ram was sleeping. Kausalya. Whom is he waking up? Whom is he waking up? Ram. Rama. Why Kausalya? Kausalya is 200 miles away. Why? Because Shastram states Mata Pitrasi Bhuyamsi Karmanyavaravade. More than the father, the mother has 100% rights on the child. The father is asking, are you done with your assignment? The son is not bound to answer. If the mother asks, he has to answer. If mama asks, we have to answer. So, Kaushalya is the one who Vishwamitra has to be grateful more than Dasharatha. That is why, as a sign of gratitude, he says Kaushalya at 4 a.m. Then he does a small sancharam for 15 minutes. Kaushalya, Kaushalya. Next word, Praja. Praja means son. But what is the word there? Supraja. Why Supraja? The commentator states, Periyavachan Pillai. Because Ram, he was so obedient when he was sleeping also. Because you should ask somebody to take photo when you are sleeping. Open mouth, saliva dripping. What is Pudicherry? I cannot translate Pudicherry. You should understand what is that. And Pudicherry in the eye, Jullu in the mouth. And open mouth, spread hair, open hands, spread out legs. Nobody can be even more uglier than this. Thank God nobody takes a photo of it. But today we go to Srirangam, stand in the queue for hours together to see the Lord sleeping. Because he is the only one who looks handsome in his sleep. Sukasutta Parantapa Shriman. Shayanikum Perumalin Tuppul Kodi Kamala Tuppul Kodi Nel Brahman. அமர்ந்தபடி உலகத்தின் உயிர்களை படைத்த படிக படைப்பினை திருமால் காத்தபடி அண்டம் பகிரண்டம் வரை காக்கும் அவர் கோதண்டம் விண்ணையும் மண்ணுலகையும் அடக்கும் ஔபாமனபாதம் ஹரி 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 தினம் ஸ்மரீனார் வணங்கிடும் இறைவனோ சங்கு சக்கர தாரி என் நெஞ்சில் பள்ளி கொண்டவன் ஸ்ரீரங்கநாயகன் சயனதே ஹரிசேஷன் மேலே திருபடி திருமங்கை மல்லி மேலே பூலோகநாயகன் ஸ்ரீரங்கன். Speaks so well. Kaushalya, Supraja, good child. What is the next word? He does not want to tell this word. Somehow he is doing very well in the same Kaushalya, Supraja. Why? Because this name was given to this boy by Vasishta. How will Vishwamitra say that name? If one scheme has been started by the previous government, I have to come and change the scheme. How can I call by the same name?
That is when he takes all the 1,000 esoteric names of the Lord and puts it in a sea. When we used to do engineering, we had applied engineering. We have to do some experiments from civil engineering. There is something called seam analysis. You will have to put sand in various seas and start heating at them. Finally, some sand will settle at the bottom. You will have to weigh and you will have to measure, and they will say you are a very good engineer. Construct the building. Building. That way it falls. So here, all the 1,000 names were put. Vishwam Vishnuhu Vashatkaraha Bhuta Bhubhya Bhavat Prabhu Bhuta Vidbhava Bhutatma Bhuta Pavana. All the 1,000 names were put, and Vishwamitra started singing, and what he received was one name. Sahasranama Tatulyam Ramanama Varanane Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartade. It is already getting late, Ram. Get up. Uttishthaya, get up. Narashardula, traitor amongst men. Kartavyam Daivamahikam, to perform duties. That is when Sridhar Anantarama used to state. He did not wake up Ram to ask him to perform duties because he wanted to perform his duties. Because every morning Vishwamitra would stand up with the Arghya Patram, look at the Lord who is the centerpiece of the sun. Dheyasada Savitramandala Madhyavarti, and used to lead the Arghyam. Today that is the same Lord from the middle of the orbit of the sun who is now personified as Ram. So he said, Ram, if you wake up, I will give the Arghyam to you. Kartavyam Daivamanhikam. But Tyagaraja states, will you wake up like this? Get up, Ram. Only if you wake up, you can marry Seeta. Meluko Vaya Mameluko Rama Melaina Seeta Sametana Bhagyama. Get up. So Ram got up. They went to Mithila. They entered Nepal, Mithila, Janakpuri. Vishwamitra walked very fast. Ram was looking at the new city. He was not exposed, or he has never gone on an excursion. He was looking at the new city. Then he got inside Mithila cross street, Mithila main road, Mithila. So that is when there was a low-lying balcony, a gazebo. The girls were playing, they were playing. Like P.V. Sindhu, they were playing. So that is when they said, Seeta, there is a ball, go take that ball. She came running. She took the ball and she looked down, who is going by our street? And he saw, who was looking at me? And they did not know, Kamban has seen them. Poor man, he spent his entire life writing 10,340 letters. Yes, I think See, technically this is a wrong sentence because in any language you cannot say two wombs. This shop is also open on Sunday. It means it is not open on other days. You will not say it is open on Monday also, on Tuesday also, on Thursday also. I also had curd rice. That means what, 2-3 rices I would have had before. Annarum Nokina means Avalum Nokina is implied. Annarum Nokina, Avalum Nokina. Why? Because in terms of accident and not an incident, we will use this. If two vehicles have met up with an accident, what happened? You see, sir, that person was coming that side and this person was coming this side. He also came and this man also came and they hit. Avalum Bandhan, Ivalum Bandhan. When there is an accident and not an incident. Had both of them decided a lot more can happen over coffee, let us meet, then it is an incident you cannot use. It is an accident. So, Annarum Nokina, Navarum Nokina. There is another hidden meaning. Money offer and giving to you today, audio offer, Avani offer. Other offer is in houses where, again, if at all parents are blessed with the opportunity to perform an arranged marriage in certain houses, you may witness that you will want to bring the horoscopes together. That is the only place where the astrologer can thrive. So you bring, what do? You check if the Gotram is different, Nakshatram is different, if the family is good, whether he has done a postdoctorate, CFA level passed or not, charter is obtained or not, then you match. Ultimately what may happen is when you bring two horoscopes, listen to this very carefully, I will save so much of money for you. So when you bring two horoscopes together, everything matches, horoscope doesn't match. Astrologers say, see, the Guru is looking at Ketu, Ketu is not looking at Rahu. From the 11th house, he is looking at the 7th house. 7th house is half Vakram. So he says all these and we get confused. Who is looking, who is not looking, we don't know, but something is wrong. We end up thinking actually the Jatakam alone did not match. That is when Apastamba plays an essential role. What is Apastamba? For those of you who may remotely remember something called Abhivadaye. Abhivadaye, Amvilasambari, Revanantatraya, Arishaya, Pravara, Amvita, Haritagotraha, Apastamba Sutraha, Ijushaka, Adhyayi, Dash, Sharmanamaham Asmi Goho. You introduce yourself. You say that in my Gotra, I come in the DNA clan of one rishi called Atri, Atreya Gotre, Bharadwaja, Bharadwaja Gotre, Kashyapa, Kashyapa Gotre. I come in the alma mater. See, generally university will say, who is graduated from our university, so that alma mater is called Pravaram. And Sutram is the family procedure. If you go ask, in your house you don't keep Navaratri? In our house it is not a practice at all. Everything was no Vadakam. So this Vadakam is called Sutram. So in those days there was a Sutrakara called Apastamba. He has stated that if everything matches and the horoscopes don't match, parents and prospect in-laws don't worry. You bring the boy and the girl together. See if their eye glances can communicate. Kannala basically, you know what communicating through eyes? In lectures we say, get up. It means get up. So these eyeglasses matter a lot. In certain houses they laugh at the person. You look at Angaja Mami or Angaja Mami. Today your WhatsApp I know. After having delivered so many lectures, what you have a basic experience. So, if you bring the boy and the girl together and their eyes can communicate, then you don't have to look at the Jataka. This was Apastamba states. I've saved so much of money. That is why Kamban states, Annarum Nokinan, Avadum Nokinan. No need to look at Jatakam. Arunachala Kavira says, Karulagum Srirulagum Vidirail Kandi Madam Tamil Munde Nindrabayaro Ibayaro Yenapero. So now Seeta is always thinking about Ram. Ram is also such a beautiful lady I have never seen in Ayodhya. All Ayodhya. Not so good to look at. She is so beautiful. They go. That is when Janaka has placed one bow of Lord Shiva. Vinakaran Vayati Lakam Divyagadhi Sudasana Vanarachita Subahu Mukhavadham Ahalya Pavanam Anagam Isha Chama Bhangam Janakasuta Pranyesham Ghanakupita Vihurama Garbharanita Saketam Bhavayami Raghuranam Bhavya Sugunaramam Anagam Isha Charapa Bhangam Agam Sin Anagam, sinless. Chapa Bhangam, the one who broke, he did not want to break the bow. The bow is already had a crack. So when he handled the bow, it broke. That is when Janaka was happy. Thankfully, my daughter is getting married. He was not bad or bothered about the bow. He thought he was getting repaired in the workshop. His daughter is getting married because Seeta conveys to Atri and Anasuya. Tomorrow when we see, she will tell to Atri and Anasuya. Anasuya, very old, experienced, ideal housewife. So she will say, Seeta, I could not attend your marriage, but I heard that one cannot even describe how your father performed marriage. The food was so excellent by Pattappa Dillappa. So good, new types of matte finish jewellery and antique jewellery. Tell me all that. That is when Seeta states, you know what, Anasuya ji? My father was so worried when I did not get married. Why Why? What happened? I was 6 years of age and he was buried. Today, the difference between the real marriage and the Sashketa Purti is very little. You can call the same priest. Sir, I will fix you, you perform the Sashketa Purti. Gap is very little. Because Shastram states, as per Dvihya Sutram, the marriageable girl has to sit on one lap of the father and get married because the man's other lap is engaged for his wife. As per Shastra. But today the father cannot manage the girl's weight on one lap. So he sits on one chair, she sits on him. So Seeta was wondering. Now she was looking at Ram who was lifting the bow. Because Ram had to go under the grace of Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra said, Vatsa. In Sanskrit, Vatsa means the younger one. Amongst Ram and Lakshmana, who is the younger one? Lakshmana. So Lakshmana stood up. Vishwamitra was worried. This Ramayana itself is changing. Vatsa Rama. Lakshmana sat in Ram Bhata. Dhanu Pashya. Look at the bow. Dhanu Pashya. Look at the bow. What we would have done, we would have Kosalaha Saha Yangitagyaha states the commentator. Inmates of Uttar Pradesh were very good in understanding gestures. That means I will not cook for you. You should understand. So, here Vishwamitra is telling, Vatsa Rama Dhanu Pashya, lift and see, not see. In that bracket it is lift and. In maths we always say f of x, function of x. In physics we say latent heat, hidden heat. Like this hidden word. So we say lift. Why? The other meaning is Dhanu Pashya. After having looked at Seeta and Kanimada, Ram is looking at Seeta. Don't look at her, look at the bow. Dhanu Pashya. Now Seeta wants to look at Ram, but being the traditional lady of those days, she had shyness. So she could not look at Ram directly. So she acted as if the bangles were going down, and in that vyajan she wanted to slowly look at Ram through her side glasses. She did not know that Tyagaraja was standing there. Kala kala manukha palugirina Seeta kuduchu ora galulanu jucherinu kana kana ruchira kana kavasana Now Ram was said, lift the boat. Ram went and lifted. Immediately Janaka was happy. He said, Seeta, go and garland Ram immediately. Photographers, all media come here. They were all ready. Ram said, no. Because Guru said I have to lift, I lifted. In this avatar, in this janma, I will listen only if my father says. What does it imply? Corollary. Next avatar, I will not marry as per my parents' action. 16,008 marriages, none of them was fixed by Devaki. All different kinds, various buckets of marriages. In Six Sigma we call it bucketing. You can bucket them into 8 types of marriages. So, here we had Ram walk. He said, I'll wait for my father. Immediately the father was sent. Dasharatha was very happy. He thought, thank God, I don't have to go to matrimony and register 5 feet, 7 inches, clean habits, weak complexion, naughty complexion, all that we don't have to put. So he's getting married. So he took all of them, and it was a cost-effective marriage. Because his other daughter, Urmila, was married to Lakshmana. The brother's daughters, Mandali and Sridhar, were to be married to Bharata and Shatrugna. So the same priest was employed. You don't have to fix one different mandapa. Cost-effective solution. So they all went to that marriage. That is when Kamban states, the crowd was so intense that the ulundu, when it is let about, cannot fall on the ground. Generally we say, if you put sesame seeds, if it doesn't fall, it means it is such a thickly packed crowd. But he says Ulundu because Kamban states they are going for a marriage and not Devasam. In Devasam you will use Elu, in Kalyanam you will use Ulundu. So he goes, they all go, all the 9 gems. Kalingunita lala paina kapina pushyaragamu Keledi Shivekadadri Indranilamu Pandajana Nividodana Payani Divyaratnamo Baluni Baluterige Padmanavudu Muddugare Yashoda Mungidi Muthyamu Vidu Vidyarani Mahimala Devaki Sutudu Ratikeli Rukminiki Rambumovi Pagadamu Idigo Madhanamu Gomedikamu Sedamai Sankachakradra Santula Vaiduyamu Gatudai Mamurache Kamalakshudu. He describes the 9 gems, Annavacharya. Indra Neela Madisarni Bhavagana Chandra Surya Nayana Praneya Bhakti Rajana Sakaresha Shudhara Yendra Jayana Javana Vaisarnuka Jagadayanamudayaka. The sapphires from Sri Lanka, the rubies from Myanmar, the amethyst from Brazil, the opal from Australia, the diamonds of South Africa, the pearls of Hyderabad, the corals of the barrier reef, all of them were put together, ground together in fine dust, and the rangoli was laid in the marriage. The toranam was placed to welcome the guests who would come. And that is when Janavasam was performed. Because Janu in Sanskrit is the portion till your knee. And if your hand exceeds that, in those days to be a good warrior, your hands have to be long. Excess is R. Ajanu Bahum. The one who has got long hands. So that is why in that event, if you give dress below the Janu, it is called Janu Vasam, Jana Vasam. If you do give shorts, it is Ajana Vasam. So then they took an ambassador path. They put roses everywhere. They made Seeta and Ram sit, and slowly it went. Mommies were carrying badam plate before. But today people don't perform Janavasam because in India any road you go today traffic it is like Janavasam. Nitya Janavasam. So Janavasam was performed. Next morning Kashi Yatra was performed. Kashi Udalana Nagarikalla Kadini Arudara Kachik Obba states Vedanta Rishika. Kashi in those days men used to get married and then used to study. Today we get studied, overstudied men. So they don't have to go further and study. So in those days, if you have to study, you have to go to Kashi. Today, if you have to win elections also, you have to go to Kashi. That is why on the day of Janavasam, they incidentally put one alva called Kashi alva. And the next day, to commemorate Seeta, they will put Ashoka alva. So, this Kashi Yatra was performed, then the Pidi was performed, then they were made to sit on a swing. So they were made to sit in a swing, then later they came. Ram was very desperate to meet Seeta, so he walked fast. That is when his sister said, who's the sister-in-law to Seeta? Parvati, she said, don't walk so fast. Then they will think that you're actually so desperate. Walk slow. Ninu judava shubhagini karam ujiduka manasuran chillani ahimalanu baluka Miruba Sunalam Dhanusara Chiruka Ghanatyagaraju Ghanatyagaraju Mahimadanu Duguluka Kecharika Gararagirama came the sister-in-law, because sister-in-law has to traditionally take the 9-yard saree and drape in the bride. She has to drape the bride. But today, you need one to drape the sister-in-law. Then she will drape. So sister-in-law, she is called Nananda. Nananda in Sanskrit. Hindi में हम ननद बोलते हैं. तेलुगु में चलता है. आड़पुजी. हाँ? आड़पड़ुचु. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ? ನಾದ್ನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ತಮಿಳು ನಾದನ, ನಾದನ, ನಾದ್ನಿ, ನನಂದ್, ನನಾಂದ. Sanskrit is called Nananda. Why? Na Ananda iti bhavati. Whatever something is not happening. So she is called Nananda. That is why Anda says, இந்திரனிட்ட தேவர் குடாமெல்லாம் வந்திருந்து எம்மை மகள் பேசி மந்திரத்து மந்திர கோடி உடுத்தி வனமாலை அந்தரி சூதக்கனா கண்டேன் தோழினான். So she was brought. Dasharatha said, Yam Seeta, she is my daughter. Ram said, so what? Everybody has a daughter. No, she is a special one. You know, Ram, gold is born as ore in the mines, in the earth. My daughter was also born in the earth. She is like gold. Hiranyavarna, Harini, Yam Seeta. Is she so beautiful then? Yes. They say that you are very handsome, Ram. No doubt. Chandrakantaranam Ram, Ativa Priyadarshanam Rupa Udarinai, Viksam, Krishnichikapaharinam. Very handsome. You are also well educated. Yes, that is the important point, Janaka. I am well educated. You are not talking about your daughter's education. Janaka said, for worldly things we don't have to give a long elaboration. If one has to sell a diamond, he says this is a diamond, people will buy. If he has to sell a 10 rupee Ratna store's box, he will say, you know what, this is the Ratna, he closed this tight and said, Tipu Sultan used this, his son used this. Then people will say, I will not buy. After having given such a description also, people may not buy the diamond, it doesn't mean. So for my daughter, I don't have to explain. For you, people may have to explain. Iyam Seeta. She is my daughter. Every parent should have that opportunity to say, Mama Sunda. She will be a better half. What is better half? Why do they say better half? In half, what is better and what is not better? That's what. 1 is a 0.5, 0.5. What is that half, better half?
Better than the husband.
Huh?
Better than the husband.
Better than the husband. Thank God my wife is here. She don't understand. Okay. Now, what is a better half? Even I used to have this doubt. When I went and asked my Acharya, we contemplate what could be the reason. If you recite Lakshmi Ashtotram by any chance, at any point in time in your life, you will know. Prakritim Vikritim Vidyam Sarva Bhuta Hita Pradam Shraddham Vibhutim Surabhim Namami Paramatmikam. Paramatmikam. That is the word. That is the true word for us. Paramatmikam. She is a better half. Why? Because in technically maths, 0.5, 0.5 are the same. But if it is 0.48, what will you approximate it to? 0.5. 0.52?
5.
0.5. But is 0.52 equal to 0.48? No. That means 0.52 is greater than 0.48, but 0.52 is approximated to 0.5. 0.48 is lesser than 0.52, yet it is approximated to 0.5. But the 0.5 which has come from 0.52 is much better in value than the 0.5 which has come from 0.48. So this is half, come from 0.48 to 0.5 which has come half, but the other one is the better half. So Mahalakshmi has qualities better than the Lord. Paramatmika Yai Namaha. Saradharma Charitava. She is the better half, Rama. If you commit mistake, she will correct you and bring you to the right path. Pradichachainam. Hold her hand properly. Janaka knew something will happen later. So he said, hold my daughter's hand properly. Pradichachainam. Bhadram te. Bhadram in Sanskrit means Mangalam. May goodness happen to you. Bhadram karne vishnuyama devaha. Bhadram pashet makshadhivyajatraha. So Bhadram, may goodness happen to both of you. That is not what he meant.
He sent a Tamil Badram, my daughter. Badram, Badram te Paningrinishwa Panina. Hold my daughter's hands, palms. Pani is Hastam. Grahanam is Bandhanam. Pani Grahanam is Hasta Bandhanam. Abbreviated form, husband. Pativrata Mahabhagacharye Vanugata Sada. This divine marriage. Vishnu Puranam, Parashara tells Maitreya, I will need 1,000 years to describe this marriage, but I have got only 3 more minutes to complete my Upanyas. That is when Tyagaraja wants to celebrate. He is a poor singer. Today we are all become very rich singing his kritis. We don't even know what is the meaning of the kritis. See, you have a chance to that. But poor Tyagaraja, he sang so many kritis, no copyright. Poor man, he had no money. He lived in a kshetram called Panchanadi Kshetram. Ayyal. Kudamurti, Mudivandana, Rasalaru, Swan. It is called Tiruvayyar. Panchanadi Ishwara is the name of Lord Shiva there. Dharma Samvardhini Nannu Kanna Talli Nabhagyama Narayani Dharma Vike. He lived in Tiruvayyar. He wanted to perform the celestial marriage of Ram and Seeta, but where did he go for the hall? Every hall they are saying, give me caution deposit, give me this deposit, that deposit. Poor man, where did he go? That is when he thought, let his heart be the mandapam. Let the aorta, ventricles, auricles, pulmonary vein, artery, let them all be the pillars. Let the blood that runs through all of them, oxygenated and deoxygenated blood that runs, be the energy, the electricity that goes and gives illumination to that hall. He constructed a beautiful swing with his capillaries and arteries and made Ram and Seeta sit in it. While he was about to swing, he realized that he is too little a person to swing for the greatest of the couple. So out of that feeling that he is too little, he came backwards. That is when he hit upon a gym-bodied person. Who is that? Hanuman. Hanuman said, Tyagaraja, you have to swing. Hanuman said, Tyagaraja said, Hanuman, you do it. In that competition, they saw the beautiful eyes of the Lord. Pavanaja Stuti Padra Charitra Ravi Soma Varanetra Ravaniya Seeta Kalyanam Vaivogane Rama Kalyanam Vaivogane. How many other songs may come and go? What can match the magnificence and majesticness of this song? What a beautiful composition these were put to a swing. That is when Vedanta Deshika describes. He has his own music style. Deshika, none can match him. Jaya Jaya Mahavira Mahadhira Dhaureya Deva Sura Samara Samaya Samudita Nikhila Nirjara Nirdharita Niravadhika Mahatya Dashamadana Tamila Naimata Parishada Bhyarthita Dasharathi Bhava Dinakara Kula Kamala Dimakara Vivishadharipati Rana Saka Charana Chatura Dasharana Charamashtrana Vimochana Kosala Sutta Kumara Bhava Kanchukila Karana Kara Kaumara Kedi Gomarita Kaushika Dhara Pranabhara Durya Bhauya Divyastra Vrindavandita Pranadajana Vimata Vimadana Dullalita Dullalita Tanutara Vishika Vitadana Vighatita Vishararu Shararu Tataka Tatakeya Jadakirana Shakala Dhara Jadila Nadapadima Buddha Dadana Padu Vibuddha Sarinani Adipa Buddha Madhugadana Nadita Paranadina Ubabhidita Nijabhidita Jahadu Bada Tadurukira Paramakura Yuvarinuta Kushika Sudakadita Vidita Namavivida Kacha Maithila Nara Sulochana Lochana Chakora Chandra Khandavara Shuko Danda Prananda Khandana Shonda Buddha Danda Khandavara Shuko Danda Prananda Khandana Shonda Buddha Danda Chandagara Kirana Mandala Bodhira Pundarika Vararuchi Undaka Lochana Mochita Janaka Tudaya Shanka Tanka Parikruta Nikhila Narapati Varana Janaka Duki Janaka Vikarana Samujira Shakakoti Shakakuna
परशुधरमुनिवरकरकृत दुरवनमगमनिदनुराकर्षण प्रकाशितमारमेष्ट्य कदुवरशिखरिगन्धुरविरुद्युन्मुगरगरिगुन्तुरजितहरिदन्तिदन्तदन्तुरो रोददशवदनदमन कुशलदशदभुजमुखरुमतिकुलरुदिरजलभरित पृथुतरकटाकदर्पितविगतभृगुवतिसुगरिहरिकरणतवरुविषुभरित. This is the Bharatanda portion of Raghuvira Gadyam, the tongue twist of the tongue twister. Betty butter, butt butter, இதெல்லாம் ஒண்ணுமே இல்லை. She sells, he sells, how much would have chuck, இதெல்லாம் ஒண்ணுமே இல்லை. சட்டு பண்ணுவோம். Baba Ramdev will say, do couple more. Asana for this, Kurmasana, Bhairavasana, Markatasana. But what does he say for the tongue? நாங்கள் தமிழை காப்போம். So the best tongue twister is Vedanta Deshika Sarvira. It is tougher than our housemate Muruku. Now the beauty is, last year I came in March, April during Ramanavami and spoke about Krishna. Now I have come during Krishna Jayanti and talking about Rama. It is like, generally when they celebrate Sri.Dushyanth in houses, that person will have Sri.Dushyanth, but the lady will get maximum silk sarees. Silk for him, sarees for her. Likewise now Ram is celebrating, but the beauty is Ram's arrival was awaited. They were waiting, when will Ram be born? But what is made for his arrival? Neermor and Panaka, Chas and Gurkha Pani. Very simple to make. Even if you don't have to watch Malika Badrinath to do all this, simple you can do. Whereas Krishna's birth was not anticipated. If he is born, Kamsa will harm him. The mother was thinking and she was worried. He was born inside a jail. That is an insult to you. See, imagine an application from place of birth, Mathura jail. He was born in Mathura jail. But for his birth, we make 32 kinds of sweets. We don't make it, at least buy it. And in that there is a unique sweet which most ladies who have the interest to cook will associate, called Velashika. The beauty about this Velashika is it can come in two, the output can be in two forms. It can come in the full form, but you cannot eat it directly. You need another Velashika to break this. Or you have to soak it in water overnight. That is one. Second, it will come in the powdered form. During the Pralaya Kalam, the entire world will be pieces. It will come in that form. So one of these two forms. So Krishna's birth is awaited that way. Today, since all of you have come, you will have prospect daughters, daughter-in-laws and sons-in-law to come. So for them to get married, Mangalani Bhavantu, one. Second, for the existing marriages to last, to get married is one task. Existing marriages to last, the same couple speak for Sri.Dushyanth is a surprise. So, I will say to Seeta Kalyana Churnika, the invitation and how it was performed. It is a very beautiful Churnika. I don't know whether I will be able to do justice to it. But if you listen to it, it will just take about 1 minute and 1 minute close to 40 seconds. That's all. आरजनगणपतिः मनोरथमहन्नपारङ्गत्वा परमानन्दजलधौ निमग्नः जगच्चक्षुः कुलभूषणस्य जगत्त्रयसंरक्षणदीक्षितस्य नदजनकल्पतरो श्रीकोदण्डदीक्षागुरोः विवाहमहोत्सवक्षितिरतवपूरितमनोरथ भगीरथवंशजातम् अधिरथमहारथपृथिवीपतिवन्दितौ दशरथमहाराजम् रथगजतुरगपदादिसहितं समन्त्रि पुरोहितं सपुत्र कळत्रं सपरिवारमानाय सकृतनानाविदक्रमुगनारीकेळरम्बादिफलगुच्छ सहस्रशार्दकुम्भस्तम्भ भूषिते जम्भारि चिरकांक्षिते परिपूर्णमनोरथ परमाप्रामोद पौरभक्तजन परस्परकृतसल्लापे सकल मनोहरालापे किरीटकवच कुण्डलकेयूरनूपुरमुक्ताहार विभूषितं नानाविधं मृदुलचित्रसनस्थनानादेशागराजावर्यवृन्दे लोचनानन्दे नानाविधवर्णस्वर्णपुष्पस्तवककोटिदेदीप्यमानमालय चन्दना गुरु गुग्गुलु गोगृतादिदिव्य परिमरवासनामस्तु कुङ्कुमायमानसभान्तरे निरन्तरमणिगलितमुकुरपरम्परे देवी मृदङ्गमद्दडकागळगुण्डु వేణు నూపుర మట్టుగ ఇంటిమ డమరుక జంజరి झल्लरि धवल शंख मणव पडहाद्य अष्टादश वाद्य घोष संतत शब्दायमान सकल निरंतरे नारद तुम्बुरु वीणा गान मनोहरे सवत्स गोसहस्राद्यनेक कोटि हिरण्य वस्त्राभरण भूदान बहुदान संतोषित पात्र भूतोभय संबंधि राज श्रेष्ठ वंशावली नाम गोत्र प्रवरोच्चारण गुण वशिष्ठ वामदेव विश्वामित्र सदानंदारि सकल मुनिगण संकीर्ण विवाह देवी मध्ये कृतस्तव सिद्ध साध्ये अब्जव जिष्णुमुख कृष्ण सकल दश सप्तमरु अष्टवशु यक्ष गण सिद्ध जन रुद्रगण सत्कृत पवित्रधर मित्र कुल रत्न सुगुणस्तव समस्त प्रशस्त बिंदस्तो मनिदे निरस्त घनवेन्द्र बिल्व संकर्षणाद्य वर वृंदावकीर्ण्यमान मंदार कुष्ममुख दुर्मुखी वर्षे नवरत्नमणि खचित कनकमय मंडपे किंचिदारुद्धतारुण्यं नगजनैककारुण्यं विदयित महेश चापं विधिमुख सुराविदित प्रतापं परिकृतमुखि मुनिजनतापं भानुकुलरत्नदीपं सम्पूरित भक्तजनकामं सजलजलधर श्यामं सकललोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं सन्निवेशकेतकी चम्पमल्लिकाद्यलङ्कृत नीलालवेणी कलहंसगामिनीं करुणावलोकिनीं अनघमणिखचितकेमकण्ठीं स्वरजितकलकण्ठीं हाटकमणिमयताटकालङ्कृतकपोलाम् अगणितकल्याणगुणशीलाम् अरविन्दसुन्दर मन्दहासमुखीं श्रीरघुनन्दनाममुखीं कृत्वा इयं सीता मम सुता धर्मचरितव प्रतीच्छ चैनां भद्रं ते पाणिं गृहीष्व पाणिना इति क्षीराब्धिरिव महालक्ष्मी श्रीमते नारायण शोभन मन्त्राक्षत हिरण्योदकधारा सहितां मन्दस्मितां सीतां श्रीरामचन्द्रकरारविन्दे समर्पयामास शुभम् पवन सुतुरुपटुपदार विनुदमुलकु रूपमुलकु नित्य जय मंगलम राजीव नयन त्यागराजारि विनुतमयीन नाम रूपमुलकु नित्य जय मंगलम मंगलम कोसलेन्द्राय महनीय गुणादये चक्रवर्ती तनुजाय सार्वभौमाय मंगलम कवितार्किक सिंहाय कल्याण गुणशालिने श्रीमते वेंकटेशाय वेदांत गुरवे नमः स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्याय्येन मार्गेण महीमहीषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैव बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृति स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. So of the 6